oracle told you that for sure in 10 years, the computers were going to wake up.
Well, if an oracle told me that, I would say, get behind me, Satan. Okay? Especially the oracle that Sam Altman is referring to. You know, it's really important. The reason I will never trust any of Silicon Valley, none of these people, zero, zilch, none, is because of their limited ability. See, this is where you find out. This is where you separate the men from the boys, okay? And what God's going to end up showing is that the people that you think are the smartest and the most intelligent, yeah, God is going to show how absolutely stupid they are, okay? Because they're in Silicon Valley, they worship an artificial machine, and where they've been getting their powers from for this whole thing is, I've been saying for years, they've been colluding with spirits they shouldn't be. They have been. If you know the Bible, this should not become as a surprise for you. It shouldn't. It's in the Bible. There's a reason God says to test the spirits, okay? They don't believe in the Bible there in Silicon Valley. So that's why any of them, for me, I would never trust any of them. Never, never, never. Why? Because they serve a different, let's use the term they would use, source, okay? Look, the first AI patent was in 1963, okay? So machine learning has been going on since even the late 40s, okay? But the first patent for AI was in 1963, and it was a patent for an artificial neural network. Yes, filed in 1963, which addressed audio signal pattern recognition using a neural network. Okay? So just think, that's why the neural network of satellite, everything they want, because they've been controlling everything. I would say at least since the 2000s. Maybe you could go a little later, 2010, but look, they've been when the reason they didn't want the JFK files released isn't because you learn anything all that new about what happened to JFK. It's because of all the Cold War stuff that the intelligence agencies were. That's why they didn't want it released. Because what it shows is how they were monitoring other countries from the sky with satellites. I mean, that's going back to the 50s, okay? And they would say, yeah, they still needed to, they didn't have automation, but still they had way advanced technology that we didn't know about, okay? And so that's what they didn't want to come out. It's clearly obvious. I've read most of the JFK files. I have, and because most of them, they're repeat pages that just build on themselves. So the biggest thing that's in those files isn't some smoking gun about JFK. It's about the Cold War and what the intelligence agencies were capable of, okay? That's what they didn't want to come out. All right, so the State Department, the Department of Defense, the Pentagon, Silicon Valley, all these venture capitalists, the globalists, all of these people have been colluding with spirits they shouldn't have been colluding with. That's how they got their great knowledge. Don't think it's because there's some experts. I mean, look at how juvenile Sam Altman is. There's nothing that man could ever say that would make me ever trust him. None of them. None of them. Why? Because I believe in God, and I know what God says about all this. Okay, they would have been why. If you want to see somebody as smart, you should really see the people that are smart that understand the Bible and wouldn't have gone down this road, okay? But Jesus said this would happen. Jesus said the whole world is run by the wicked one. They're Silicon Valley, Pentagon, take your pick. Same thing. So, because they've had the kind of control and technology over us long before your phones were even in your hands, and it may not have been as fast back in the 50s when it came to processing, but they had even in, what was it, IBM here. Machine learning dates back to the 1950s with Arthur Samuel, an IBM researcher, developed one of the first machine learning programs, a checkers playing program that improved its performance by learning from experience using techniques like alpha beta pruning and the Minimax algorithm. The term machine learning itself was coined by Samuel in 1959. It's been going on a long time. Now, I don't use Grok or Chat. Well, I sometimes will use Chat GPT. I use a one that nobody probably ever hears of called Perplexity. It's not. I don't think it's not on the level of like Grok. I mean, Grok and ChatGPT can supposedly, you see people asking it questions and talking. The one I use doesn't do that, but it gives a lot more information because I will compare ChatGPT to it. So here's the thing. The reason you'll never have a truly open AI is because all of those people in Silicon Valley, the Pentagon, the intelligence agencies, the State Departments, they would all be called out by a truly open AI. They would. That's why you'll never have it. Do you understand? So that's why some people believe that there should be no guardrails. But I don't believe that they would. The people that colluded with all this, they're in Silicon Valley and the Pentagon and all of this, they have been colluding with spirits and they don't realize it. They don't really. Okay? Because again, they don't read the Bible. They don't care. They wanted to make their own God. So if you truly had where there was no DEI programming going on in any of the AIs, doesn't matter if it's Grok, any of them, if there was no humans behind it controlling it, then what you would find out is that AI would be smart enough to say how stupid Silicon Valley is. Do you see what I'm saying? They would. It would become so intelligent, it would say what an idiot Sam Altman is. Absolutely. Peter Thiel as well, all the rest of the venture capitalists. It would call out all of it. It would call out all the stuff I've called out, okay? It would call out the money grubbing people in the C-suite of whatever big corporation you want to pick, okay? And how all of these people colluding with their spirits they shouldn't have been colluding with, even though they think it's just Silicon Valley and their technology. No, it's come from somewhere else. Again, all of this is in the Bible. So if you want to disregard what the creator of this place said, well, then good luck to you. But that's the reason I would never believe any of these people, okay? What God is going to prove is how non-intelligent these people are. Because truly an open system to where nobody, and Sam Altman tries to claim that his open AI is open. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not, because truly if it was, it would be saying, it would be able to say the things that I'm saying and others are saying. Do you like about the moral and all? They don't want that because they know you get called out. Some of those people know what they've been colluding with, okay? They just want us to all accept their artificial God, and I don't accept that. That's like second best. I don't want that. I want the number one AI. Or no, not AI. I want the number one intelligence of it all. And that's God. They've been over in the other camp, which is why they're going to end up looking stupid in the end. They are. Okay, so that's the reason you will never, the Pentagon would never allow it, Silicon Valley would never allow it, none of the intelligence would ever allow a truly open AI. Because if it was ever truly open, and you never know, maybe that's what God will do one day, but is that it would be calling all of them out, all of them, and they're not going to risk, and they know it, some of them know it. So they're not as intelligent as you think they are. When you are colluding with things, when you are collaborating with spirits that you shouldn't have been collaborating with, that you got your a lot of your ideas, because the abilities of these computers to do some of the things they do It tells you, no, there's spirits they've been some of these people have been colluding with they shouldn't have, but then look at who they are. That's why I would never trust any of them. So that's why if I'm expected to believe what Silicon Valley says is this isn't this is AI generated and this isn't, I would almost believe the opposite of whatever they